collapsed and died over the weekend. It exposed the dark side of Hollywood, a town that some say lures the young and naive into a world of decadence. It's a world River Phoenix talked about in his last interview. Doug Bruckner has the unnerving story.
I deal with a lot of phonies, you know, and I'm not going to give my truth to the phonies. You know, like, that's what I think. I figure, like, everything you say, they lie and change anyway, so maybe if you lie, give them book, maybe for some reason it'll come out to be truthful.
Here at the St. James Club is where River Phoenix gave his last interview, just a few blocks down the Sunset Strip from where he died. It's a final glimpse into one of Hollywood's most promising careers and shocking deaths.
Very tired of living here. It makes me kind of want to, you know, move somewhere where, you know, Paris has it more together than we do.
God, he was just so young, you know, to die.
It's just a loss, just a brilliant life was gone.
As fans of the actor hold vigil in the dark, his tragic death shines a spotlight on the double life of many Hollywood teen stars.
What the public sees is just a glimpse. It's a peek. It's not the teen star in real life. It's an act.
Joe Bauer's new book, Hollywood Raw, documents the Hollywood club scene that thrives off young stars like River Phoenix.
There's a constant availability of teen stars looking for fun, and the clubs are there to satisfy that. They provide the groupies, they'll provide the drugs, they'll provide the alcohol, they'll provide whatever.
But this is nothing new. Every generation in Hollywood has had its secret clubs and secret addictions.
It's expected that there is a drug room at clubs. This goes all the way back to the Studio 54 days in New York, and it came out here. There's always drugs.
Today, there are massive rave parties fueled by the drug ecstasy and balloons of nitrous oxide. But Hollywood's elite prefer the small, intimate clubs like the Viper Room, where their privacy is protected and their wildest desires met.
They have no restrictions. Nobody says no. They don't wait in line. They don't pay for anything.
But Hollywood's very good at keeping secrets and protecting its own.
The golden rule is nobody talks, and nobody tells the truth.
The nocturnal activities of a seemingly spotless River Phoenix are no exception until now.
There was another River Phoenix. There was a dark side. Sam Kinison, who's a well-known drug Svengali, mentioned River Phoenix as among the happy group. He partied with the Coreys, Heyman Feldman, David Faustino. The in-group parties together. They understand each other, and they understand the sacred oath that nobody talks.
Unlike the antics of Shannon Doherty, most teen stars try to keep their image squeaky clean, including Christina Applegate, who was partying at Viper when River Phoenix collapsed.
There's a complete other side to Christina Applegate, which is documented in Hollywood Raw in her own words. Let's just say that all of the rumors might be true. Fred Savage from the Wonder Years has had periods of very bizarre behavior on the set. When you see a Jason Hervey, who played his big brother on the Wonder Years, they're all on the party scene. It's private. They're with a trusted entourage who don't get a second chance. If they talk, they walk.
The secrecy is what makes River Phoenix's death so shocking, so disturbing, unless, of course, you have stepped into that world and experienced the dark side of Hollywood.
And it comes as no surprise to me that many people are coming forward now and saying they did drugs with River Phoenix.
Swallow the pill, we digest it, and then we forget about it. We don't learn from anything. We refuse to learn from anything.
These kids, they like the high of the drugs. They like the drug world. They don't think about tomorrow. There's only the moment. Whatever they want is theirs. Every day is their birthday. Don't be surprised when you see a River Phoenix drop dead.
Of course, it should be noted that not all these partying Hollywood teens abuse drugs, but River Phoenix's tragic death is a poignant reminder that even Hollywood stars are mortal.
Now the
incredible grief sweeps the nation's youth over the death of River Phoenix. And as a cult already forms around his legend, the latest on what killed him and the young celebrities caught in the police net.
We will be talking to those people. I think the investigators are waiting after the funeral.
The River Phoenix mystery.
Tonight, but it's having quite an effect on kids around the country, more than parents might think. No one is saying exactly what caused the young actor to go into seizures at a nightclub and then die outside on the Sunset Strip over the weekend, but suspicion is pointing in one tragic direction. Bill McGowan has the latest.
Maureen, this is a story that investigators are still sorting out and kids all over the country are talking about. Because River Phoenix was a role model to a lot of young people who already think of him as a legend who's achieved immortality.
I hate to characterize anybody's death as run-of-the-mill. We take everything very seriously and looking at things as thoroughly as we can. I would say that this case would not be atypical.
He lived fast, he died young. He left a beautiful crowd in tears.
I'm sure he's in a better place right now, and it's just a really tragic loss.
I just think it's really sad that such a young, tremendous actor has to go away in such a way.
Outside the Viper Room, the nightclub on the Sunset Strip where River Phoenix died, the crowds were not waiting to get in. They were there to pay homage.
It's a tragedy. It's a shame that at a young age, this man, went through something as sad as this. So we come to give our condolences and our prayers.
And all through the shadowy haunts of L.A., where River Phoenix worked and played, there was grief. Grief and resignation that this most special young actor may have fallen victim to a lifestyle.
He was a reflection of our generation, the 20-something generation. And you just have to remember all the good he's brought. And say it was drugs that killed him. I mean, who really cares? That doesn't matter. That's not going to change my opinion of him at all.
How River Phoenix died remains a mystery. The coroner says the autopsy was inconclusive. But there are reports today that a heart problem has been ruled out. And from coast to coast, all suspicion has centered on drugs.
You must get over here, please. You must get over here, please.
The 911 call from his little brother set the tone.
Okay, take it easy, okay?
Okay, no, I think he had Valium or something. I don't know.
The witnesses stoked the fire.
I remember seeing him, and he just looked completely stoned. Like, it was quite apparent that he was on something.
And then there is the fireman, Los Angeles County Fire Captain Ray Rebar, the man who heads the paramedic team that tried to save River's life. He was quoted by the Associated Press saying he was told on the scene it was cocaine that was involved. He said, quote, "It was the classic cocaine overreaction. It just nails some people and stops the heart," end quote. Captain Rebar is not talking anymore. Sources tell A Current Affair he was reprimanded, ordered not to talk again. And today, there are many more unanswered questions.
Have you talked to the people that River Phoenix was at that club with that night? Christina Applegate or Samantha Mathis or Flea?
We will be talking to those people. I think the investigators are waiting for a few days, and it's my understanding he's waiting to have the funeral to speak with them.
If drugs were involved, could the club owner be held accountable?
Well, of course, we want to talk to everybody that may have some information, but right at this point, we have no idea if anybody would be criminally liable. We're handling this as a basically a death with the cause is unknown until we get the toxin test back.
Hello, I'm River Phoenix, and if you care about animals, here's some good news.
But what is most unsettling is River Phoenix's reputation for clean living. Around Micanopy, Florida, where his family lives, River Phoenix is remembered as a down-to-earth kid who was as far from Hollywood as they come. Bob Maypeak is a recording engineer at a studio where River and his sister brought their rock band.
The fact that he was such a down-to-earth guy, he didn't put on any airs, he wasn't pretentious, he didn't expect to be treated in any different way. Quite the contrary, he was very much just a normal person.
That's River's sister, Rain. She's an actress, and it was she who made a futile attempt to save River's life.
Who's with him right now?
My sister and some people.
Your sister?
Yeah.
Okay, how old is your sister?
She's 19. She's 20.
Okay, can you talk to her from where you are?
I kind of. She's trying to give him mouth to mouth. Please get over here, please. much respect to River and his family, the Viper Room will be temporarily closed. Thank you.
There you have it. The Viper Room used to be the hippest place in Hollywood. Johnny Depp owns it. There's a special room for the stars to play away from prying eyes. Now it's closed indefinitely. Johnny Depp has a shrine on his hands. It's an outpouring for another confused young kid who died for their sins.
Life is so much more important than just human life, just life in general. I mean, what came first, you know? And from a selfish standpoint, just from a humanoid standpoint, do we all want to live? And the answer is yes, I'm sure. So that alone would promote one's need to get involved with the environment. But then, in my case, you get to a point, I think, after a while, you realize that, you know, in a few million years, who knows if we will be around, in a few thousand, in a few years, period, will humans still be around?
So ironic. Thanks, Bill. Arrangements are being made for River's funeral. Meanwhile, friends are holding their own memorial services in both Florida and California, and we'll let you know what happens.
Violently having seizures. I mean, not just shaking, but violently having seizures on the sidewalk, one after another. I hope I never see anyone die again.
What could have been the career-making shot for this young photographer has turned into a full-blown attack by his competitors.
Ron, you're stupid. You could have made amends.
Very foolish. You're not a voyeur. You're there to record what's happening, good, bad, or indifferent.
Is the place where River Phoenix died.
And I'm Barry Nolan. The sudden death of the actor has raised new questions about the reckless lifestyle of young Hollywood.
Barry, it was here at the Viper Room where River Phoenix was out partying last Saturday night. What really killed the young star? So far, the autopsy report has been inconclusive. But now Hard Copy has obtained confidential documents that may reveal the secret of River Phoenix's death. Doug Bruckner has a report.
The cloud of mystery is lifting over the death last weekend of River Phoenix. From confidential hospital documents and sources inside the Hollywood club scene, Hard Copy has learned the dark and dangerous drug heroin may figure in the River Phoenix tragedy. These women are regulars at the Viper Room.
85% of the people that are there are junkies. And I know that. I know the people. I know they do it.
The coroner's test results on drugs in the body won't be complete for at least another week. But Hard Copy has this information now. It's a hospital emergency care sheet quoting a companion of the actor. River Phoenix, the report says, consumed Valium, cocaine, and heroin. Witnesses say his actions at the Viper Room were bizarre.
This guy's on something. He was like running around the club and like acting really weird and like putting his arms out, acting like he was flying or stuff.
These regulars at the Viper Room paint a picture of a club where drug use seems to be so common, it's accepted as normal.
I saw girls cutting cocaine up on the counter and snorting it right in front of anybody. Nobody goes into the bathroom to stop it, you know. I mean, there's a guard. He can't go in the bathroom. It's just one guy. On
Halloween Eve, actor Johnny Depp was playing host at the Viper Room, the club he co-owns, while River Phoenix was in the throes of death.
And Johnny Depp has to walk outside the door, and that's when River Phoenix was there, and he walks outside, sees him, walks back in. I mean, you know, it was just like, he was probably like, oh, he's just sick. I'll come back in, no big deal. You know, I mean, because it's common when you do heroin, you get sick.
Depp claims he didn't even recognize Phoenix. Eyewitnesses said River Phoenix went outside the club, collapsing in a seizure, and after several minutes, dying an agonizing death on the sidewalk.
After about 8 minutes of severe seizures, I mean, his arms flapping, his knuckles hitting the sidewalk, his head banging back and forth, his feet flopping up and down. After about 8 minutes of that, he finally became still, completely still.
However, club regulars say drugged-out behavior is allegedly seen all the time at the Viper Room. So, according to club regulars, few people noticed River Phoenix was in trouble.
He was another high person nodding out to them, and everything was going to be okay.
Actress Christina Applegate was another eyewitness and was distressed by the way events of that evening have been portrayed. She believes the portrayal of her that night suggested she was mocking River Phoenix, which she denies. She says River Phoenix should be able to make this transition with dignity and peace, and she offers prayers to his family. River Phoenix's girlfriend, Samantha Mathis, who was with him the night he died, accompanied the actor's body back to Gainesville, Florida for the funeral. In the Hollywood Hills, California, friends held their own memorial and a wake. In everyone's thoughts, the question, what happened? River Phoenix had been known for his squeaky clean image, a vegetarian who wouldn't even wear leather. But those who knew him noticed a change.
There was an amazing change in him within the last 5 years. I don't know if that was personal problems or relationships or whatever was happening in his life, but a dark side of him came out. Not that bright, beautiful child that you once saw. Something very heavy was happening to him.
The turning point seems to be 1991, when Rivers starred in the critically acclaimed film My Own Private Idaho. In it, he played a drug-addicted male prostitute. His co-star was Keanu Reeves.
Somewhere in the middle of the shooting of My Private Idaho, major transformation from someone who has never done drugs in his life to somebody who has done drugs. Transformation in his face, his acting, just his personality in general.
He's not dead. He's just passed out. It's a condition.
The film is a poignant example of life imitating art in the most tragic way. In My Own Private Idaho, Phoenix's character had a severe drug problem. And in West Hollywood this past weekend, River Phoenix played out that scene to its tragic end.
It's an awful way to die. To lay on a cold sidewalk, people pass you by, and not even know who you are.
The doors are still locked here at the Viper Room. No one has been partying here since River Phoenix died. But when the doors do open again, don't expect to just walk in off the street. Only the young and the reckless are allowed in. Barry?
Now, Big Al, 9 wives, 6...
After a few times of watching that, it just seemed like he just stopped.
It seemed like he would stop for, maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and his body would start again. I don't know how many times it did that, maybe 3 or 4 times. And then after, the last time, he just laid completely still. And there was just, so much commotion and people screaming and yelling all over the place.
Rivers' brother Leaf took his ashes back to Florida yesterday. Family and friends gathered under an oak tree and sang songs.
He's an angel. On some level, he has done more for this planet than most people could ever hope to do.
Meanwhile, Hollywood held a memorial service for the 23-year-old victim of the celebrity fast lane. Dan Aykroyd led the tribute, just as he led the farewell for his buddy, John Belushi, who died 11 years ago, also on the Sunset Strip.
He had this sort of feeling within himself, I guess, that he could push himself to an edge.
It's been reported that cocaine and Valium probably killed River Phoenix. But today, the National Enquirer says it was a speedball, cocaine and heroin, just like John Belushi.
I think it would be really sad for people to think that he was on drugs and that's the reason he died, and that's why everyone is going to always remember him.
I thought to begin with he was a cult star. I mean, there's a lot of young people that looked up to him. And it would be a terrible thing to find out that he did have a drug in his system and he was using drugs that night.
And there are other scenes behind the club doors of the Sunset Strip that will disturb you. They're the subject of a special report tonight as we look through the lens of a paparazzi camera that went inside over a period of 12 months. The faces are recognizable. The lifestyle is one you won't see on...
Notorious. Now Depp says he is tired of his club being the target of tabloid innuendo.
Drugs and the nightclub are two things that are not connected in any way.
It's his first TV interview about the death of River Phoenix, who died of a cocaine and heroin overdose outside Depp's Los Angeles nightclub, the Viper Room. And Johnny vehemently denies insinuations that his club is a druggy hangout.
Do they think that I'm insane? That I'm going to take 10 years of hard work and throw it all away so that people can do bad things in my club? No. Do they think I'm ignorant? That I'm going to allow that kind of thing to happen? It's insulting.
But he does admit controlling drug use is difficult.
first of all, at a nightclub, you can't shake down a person. You can't check his pockets. You can only check the restrooms every 5 minutes.
Depp had met River Phoenix a couple of times and was at the club the night of his collapse. He calls his death tragic.
I thought he was a very nice guy, a great actor. I had a lot of respect for him.
Johnny also tells us he hopes River Phoenix's death will stand as a warning to others about the dangers of drugs.